The Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater returns to NJPAC in Newark on Mother's Day weekend, Friday, May 9th through Sunday, May 11th. And joining us on the WBGO Journal to talk about the performances is the artistic director, Matthew Rushing. Welcome back, Matthew.
It's good to be back.
Great to see you. And Ailey's musical director and composer, Dubois Keene, is also here. Great to see you, Dubois.
A pleasure. Thank you, Douglas.
This year's performance schedule includes new music and dance, sacred songs, a reimagining of the original 1960 Revelations, the music fusing jazz, African drums, and much more. Matthew, you choreographed Sacred Songs. Tell us about this piece.
Before the pandemic hit, we had planned on celebrating Revelation's 60th anniversary. And that's when the first idea came of resurrecting the songs that were originally taken out of the first iteration of Revelations. When Revelations premiered in 1960 at the 92nd Street Y, it was over an hour long. It had live musicians and singers on stage. When it was time for Mr. Ailey to tour the ballet, he had to condense it and basically took out half the songs. And as I was reading his biography, I came across these songs that were taken out and felt like what a great idea to resurrect these songs and reimagine them in a more contemporary form and create a ballet to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Revelations.
Dubois, you were involved in the music here, and I know this is very personal to you because you came out with an expanded version of the score, Sacred Song Suite. But let's talk about sacred songs here for this performances. Why does this mean so much to you?
Yeah. Sacred Songs, the ballet work is super special because it was an opportunity for me as a lover of dance, as a trained dancer, and also as a lover of music and a trained musician to bring all of that to one space again in a sort of dream collaboration. Prior to working on this, I've been a huge fan of Matthew Rushing and the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. And so this was a moment for me to bring all of those worlds together and be a contributor to something really special. That felt like a dream come true, beyond a dream come true. Subsequently, as we were developing the music, we did about a 2 week residency at the 92nd Street Y. And in that developmental process, we knew early on that we had something special. We're like, there's something else to this music that's really um, almost feels like it's beyond even just the ballet itself. And so we decided that we wanted to record it. We knew we were going to record it for the touring work, and we decided that we wanted to release that as an album. And for me, as a recording artist, I put out music. I've written a ton, but this was like my first body of work, a debut album. So for so many reasons and so many different layered reasons, it was a really really special. It's a really special moment in my life, in my history.
Sacred Song Suite is a live album indeed, including never before heard tracks and moments that didn't make it into the dance. This was mentioned by Matthew, and you can hear it wherever you stream music. Once again, that Sacred Song Suite. Now, Sacred Songs, the performance coming up, is a part of the wonderful celebration at NJPAC. It's a tradition, Mother's Day weekend. It's always been special to me. I've taken my daughter to many of the performances. Matthew, this is a celebration, but it's also a difficult time for the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater as one of the greatest persons to ever walk the earth. Judith Jamison passed away last year at the age of 81.
Yes, it was a huge blow to the organization, and the timing when it hit also was devastating. It was right before we were entering our New York City Center season. Because we had to continue on, we decided to dedicate the season as well as this domestic tour to the life and legacy of Miss Jamison. One of the things that was first said, we heard the news, and we all agreed that we said Miss Jamison would want us to continue. So, with that idea of dancing and still mourning at the same time, we had to commit to celebrating her through our performances.
Well, you might not know this, but Judith was extremely special to me. We got very close after all the time she has come into the WBGO studios to talk about her performance. I even had her on Sports Jam, my sports podcast, as we talked about how dancers are really athletes. And I've always said, hey, you know, the tall guy you have in the company, I want him to be a tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers because he can jump into the air and grab anything. When you think of Judith Jamison Dubois, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, she was a matriarch. I mean, beyond the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, she really was a matriarch in the community, a beacon, an example of artistry. When I first started dancing and training as a dancer at 19 in junior college, she's one of the first images I saw of professional dance and what that could be. So her history and her impact extends far beyond even the company, as you said, in the sports world and in so many other spaces, folks know about her and her legacy. So I feel humbled to even be remotely connected in any way to the work that she's done.
Yeah, Dubois, I got to ask you about Matthew because we're so lucky that we have Matthew Rushing to take over the helm of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. You know what a great performer he is, what a great choreographer he is. It was just natural for him to step in. You mentioned you've had this relationship with him now. Tell us a little bit about that.
How much time do you have now? Because no, he is, oh man, like a big brother, a collaborator, a mentor, a true, genuine friend. Um, yeah, I'm not going to get emotional because that's not what this is about. I'm so grateful that um, he saw in me what he saw in me and gave me this opportunity to say, hey, I believe in what you do. I believe in what you created and what you can create. Come along with me in this journey. And our friendship, our brotherhood, our collaboration artistically has grown beyond even sacred songs. And so I'm humbled, honored, immensely grateful for um, sacred songs being the catalyst for us to be able to connect in this lifetime. And he's the best dancer, one of the best dancers to ever touch the stage. And that's, I mean, I will die on that hill. So those are my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly high praise and certainly well deserved for Matthew Rushing. Matthew, this program running from May 9th through the 11th has some incredible dances that we know and others that we might not be familiar with. Tell us about the program.
Well, this program, one of the words that come to mind is legacy. And legacy is one of those words that you can become numb to because you hear it so often. But this last season, we've had to embody what legacy really means, even with the passing of Miss Jamison. So a lot of the works this season just so happened to involve dancers, artists who were part of the organization, who danced in the company and went on to become choreographers. For example, Hope Boykin choreographing Finding Free, who also collaborated with a musician by the name of Matthew Whitaker, who I think is from New Jersey. And also the fact that we have master choreographers like Lara Lubavitch, who choreographed world premiere Many Angels, and Elisa Monti, who choreographed Treading, which is a new production. Both Lar and Elisa are choreographers who helped kind of create what Ailey is now. Mr. Ailey wanted to create a company that allowed other choreographers to bring their voice to his vision. And both Elisa and Lar have choreographed and added to this vision for decades. Along with, I'm also choreographing the piece Sacred Songs, and we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the ballet Grace, choreographed by Ronald K. Brown, who is yet another voice who is kind of added to what we know Ailey to be. So it's a big family. This whole program is basically showcasing the impact one man had on so many artists' lives.
I may have asked you this last year. But Matthew, if Alvin Ailey was in the front row of the performance at NJPAC and came backstage and said, let's hang out for a little bit, just you and me. What do you want to ask him?
Whoa. I would want to know the dirt. I would want to know I would want to know how he got through the pressure, how he was able to endure the weight and the responsibility of sustaining such a global entity. Um, yeah, I would just want to sit and listen about how he kind of got through the more challenging times. Sitting in this seat, um, you find out things that you just didn't know. You find out challenges and how heavy organization can feel. And I always think about him and Miss Jamison as I'm in this seat about, wow, I had no idea the sacrifices, the passion that it requires, and I see them, I admire them all the more now that I'm here. So I would love just to let him just release all all the things I didn't know, all the dirt.
That's a great answer. You mentioned the word legacy, and when I think about both of you, I think about both of you being important role models in the world of dance and entertainment, but also education. While you're a major educator, when did you know you wanted to give back?
Yeah, in every interview that we talk about sacred songs, I it often comes up, but I grew up in the Black church. And so for me, I think of the Black church as like the a conservatory of sorts. And there is no world where you are only receiving. It's always about giving back, right? I started serving in ministry at like 12. I was, leading worship and teaching Sunday school and all the things. So that my mom is a minister and a preacher. So those threads just live inside of me. I've been teaching since like 12, 13 in some capacity. I just don't know any other reality. I think at the point professionally where I decided, okay, I really want to pursue this. I want to, teach at the academy or the university system. Because of my touring work when I was a professional dancer, I had that experience in part. And so I knew when I came off the road that that was going to be something that I pursued, and I've been super grateful to do that now on faculty at Columbia and previously at NYU.
Remember the first time you saw Matthew dancing?
I do. I do. I know he loves when I get to tell this story. I was in junior college and I was in like a like dance history class or something like this, and we were watching video footage of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater Company, and I saw him, and I mean literally one of the first male dancers I'd ever seen that I could see myself in. I was like, I want to be a dancer. 19 in college, and then I later on that maybe a year or two later came to see City Center actually, and saw them perform, and been a fan ever since. Yeah.
How's that make you feel, Matthew? Other than, I don't want you to feel old now, I want you to feel inspired.
I feel both old and inspired. No, I Dubois shares this with me often, and I feel the sincerity. And again, it just reminds you of this position that we hold as artists. This idea of what we do is ultimately service. It is about affecting, impacting other people's lives so they are changed, and hopefully they're changed for the better. So believe me, I've always told Dubois, like, rarely have I ever met someone that is so excited about encouraging other people. So even the time that our lives kind of intersected was so perfect because I needed the encouragement and he was right there in my corner. So it is inspiring to hear.
I wasn't a big dance fan until I saw the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. I just wasn't exposed to it and didn't know enough about dance. As you can tell by my body structure, I'm not. I don't think I could be on stage with Matthew and Dubois. But as soon as I saw the elegance, the power, the diversity, the sizes of the dancers that were all different, and everybody had a strength. It drew me in, and I've been a fan of dance ever since. I guess Ailey had that in mind, didn't he, Matthew?
I totally agree. Of course, you've probably heard this mantra, but I never tire in sharing it with the public. Mr. Ailey had a mantra, and he said that dance came from the people and should be delivered back to the people. That idea of delivering back to the people and allowing people to see themselves in the performances was extremely important to him, as it is important to us. And one way that people see themselves is seeing themselves, whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually. The idea of having a diverse group of bodies, colors, skin tones is so important because we are a company that reflects the world, and the world is beautifully diverse. And even the stories we tell, though they come from the context of the African American experience, we present them in a way that everyone can see themselves, their own cultures, also in our work.
Well, once you see Cry and Revelations, you'll be thinking about Judith Jamison for sure if you come to the performances through the Mother's Day weekend at NJPAC. Before I let you go, Dubois, I have to ask you this experience with Matthew and with the company. How has it changed you?
Whew. Um, yeah, I'm still figuring that out. I'm still finding all the ways that it's changed me, but it has changed me nonetheless. I feel more clear about my purpose. I feel more confident about what I have to offer to the world. I feel more humbled about the call of the artist and what that means and how I have to show up in the world. Um, I feel more connected to this community because I've been able to be in the room with these brilliant artists and now call them friends in ways that maybe I hadn't before. So yeah.
I hope our viewers, listeners, realize how special this event's going to be with these two individuals working together for the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater through Mother's Day weekend. Matthew, for those who have yet, for some reason, have yet to see a performance from your company, tell us why they have to be there.
Well, first of all, it's important that they know that this is a company founded by a Black man and that the work comes from that context of his roots growing up in the South. It celebrates the stories of the African American culture, also told through American modern dance traditions. But aside from that, or in addition to that, this is a place where you can find and see yourself in the work. So it has nothing to do with how much concert dance you know or how much you like to go to the theater. It is one of those companies that surpass being elitist and speaks to the individual, the normal person, and allows them to see themselves in a beautiful way.
Well, to give you an idea, everyone, what this company means to me, the most treasured piece I have, other than my daughter's photos in my office, are, and is one, it started a doll collection for Doug in his office. It's the 50th anniversary of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, given to me by the great Judith Jamison, my most treasured piece there. I will never forget her. Dubois Akeem, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you.
Matthew, Rushing, you are amazing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.